Yeehaw! Here we have a shipping help video for the Royal HH and FP desktop machine lines. I normally don't delve into desktop machines too much, but had somebody ask me if I could do just a quick thing on how to prepare these boogers for shipping, and I happen to have one, so here we go. It's kind of a three-part process, and a couple of things you're going to need to keep in mind. First off, these things weigh about 30 pounds, and despite being made out of metal, they're actually pretty fragile. You know, think about it in terms of, as if it were made of glass. Because if you drop one of these, then it's dead. There's no two ways about it. There's a lot of stuff sticking off that can get bent or broken, and if you properly prepare it, then you don't have to worry about any of that stuff breaking. You're going to need to double box it, and before you do that, and by double box I mean like this will get prepared and then inserted into a tight fitting box, and then that tight fitting box will go into a larger box with packing peanuts or rolled up newspaper. Better with packing peanuts between those two. Rolled up newspaper works just fine on these, but we'll get to that in a minute. Because first you got to prepare it. And when I say prepare, I mean you have to protect the gears down inside there. If you listen, you'll hear that click. The clicking is the escapement, and don't pay attention to this one. I haven't worked on this machine. This thing sounds horrible. But it's supposed to be clicking like that. There's supposed to be the little gears inside going tick 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 as you move the carriage back across, and that little gear that's in there is not designed to handle the entire weight of this carriage. I mean, just the carriage alone on these things is about 7 to 8 pounds. It's a hefty chunk of metal, and it's a tiny, tiny, tiny little gear. It's about that big. It's about the size of the tip of a pencil. And once that breaks, then you're done. That's the heart of the machine. And all you're going to need to protect it from getting broken are 2 rubber bands, which you can get at any grocery store in the produce department. They have these things by the bag. You can walk into the produce department and say, "Hey, let me get some rubber bands." And they'll say, "1 second, please," and come back with a handful of them. That's how I got these. Or you can just buy some broccoli. It's good stuff. I mean, eat your broccoli and save your rubber bands. So you're going to need 2 of these broccoli rubber bands and a roll of plain old kitchen cling wrap. I think this is Glad cling wrap, saran wrap or something like that. So first, you're going to find the carriage release lever on each side. And there's going to be 2 of them. This is exactly the same on the HH as it is on the FP. You're going to have one right here that'll let you move the carriage. On the other side, you've got one right here that'll let you move the carriage. Now, you've got this guy, which we're not going to mess with, this guy, which we're not going to mess with, and this little one, which we're also not going to mess with. Just this one. So, we're going to take one of our rubber bands. I'm going to loop it around that little lever. And you can push the lever, or you can just pull it with the rubber band. Either way, the idea here is that this lever needs to be held in that position to where this carriage is free to move. So we're going to hook the rubber band on it, pull the rubber band tight, go around the knob a time. Well, I'm going the wrong way. There we go. Go around the knob a time or two, and then hook it back over that lever. Now you see, without me having to push that lever, it's held down, and that gear inside is not supporting the weight of this carriage. So you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Just have a little bit of redundancy on it. Because, I mean, hey, your rubber band might break. I've seen it happen. And actually on the machine that it happened, it arrived with a broken escapement. So, it's worth doing both. Especially when the cost is just a rubber band. Why not? So now you're stuck with a machine where the carriage is all the way to one side. And you obviously can't package it like this. I mean, you could, but why? This is where the cling wrap comes into play. You can take it, and it's probably easier to start from this end. And it's actually easier if you have a buddy to help you with this. If you don't have a buddy, you can take the big old thing and stick it up on its butt. That's the easy way. And again, using the knob, we're going to wrap a little bit of this around the knob just to get it started. Push it in there by hand and then start making wraps around the whole machine. I'm just knocking stuff over. This machine's so big. So normally about 5 or 6 wraps around, and you're getting the idea here, I hope, will be enough to hold that carriage in place. So there we go. See, I've only got 1 wrap on it, and it's already holding it in place. It would move inside that box, so you need to put another couple wraps on there. And if I were packaging this machine to sell, that's to ship, that's what I would do. But since I'm just making a video, I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it how it is for now. And so that's the first step. The first step is protecting the escapement. That's using the rubber bands and the cling wrap. Now the second step is to prepare this thing to go into its first box, one of 2 boxes. And you're going to need to concentrate on trying to protect these knobs, right? These little bits that are sticking off. Those all need to get protected. And you can do that with wound up bubble wrap. Make a little bit that's about the size of a roll of paper towels. I've actually seen people use rolls of paper towels before. And what you need to do is you're going to have it set right in there, just underneath, to where it protects the knobs. So once you have that in place, you can wrap the machine in bubble wrap, which bubble wrap's kind of janky. I mean, if you can get foam wrap, that's great. It's kind of hard to find, and it's a little bit expensive. So if you do use bubble wrap, use a lot of it, and use the stuff with the itty bitty bubbles. And don't be shy with it. It's pretty cheap. So wrap the machine up. Make sure you get at least pretty good amount on there, because again, you're gonna have stuff sticking off the sides. And if it's not a wide, this one's a wide carriage model. If it's not a wide carriage model, then there'll be less sticking off. So once you get a little bit of bubble wrap on there and you got the carriage immobilized, then you can put it inside its first box. Inside the first box, it should fit really snug. You're going to need to make sure that thing has no wiggle room whatsoever. And again, make sure that these are padded. Do some extra layers of bubble wrap on those, whatever you got to do. So wrap it up snug in that first box, and then just tape the living soul out of it. You can then take that second box, and with your large box, the final box, if you will, you're going to, at the very beginning of it, put a layer of noodles or foam peanuts, whatever you call them, about 4 and 5, maybe 5 inches deep in the bottom, and then set this box, the inner box, down inside it, and then start filling in all the way around it. Once you get enough in there to where you think you can close the box up, if you don't have to push down on the box to get it shut, you don't have enough in there. You should have to push it shut. I normally have to kind of lean on them with my knee a little bit as I'm going to tape it, because I pack those things so tight there's absolutely no room to move. I mean, when I take mine to the post office, I can sit on the box while I'm in line. You can also Google the phrase, "A typewriter is not a bowling ball." Now, that will take you to an essay by veteran repairman John Lewis, and he describes this process in pretty good detail, and he's got it spot on. That man's been doing it for years and years and years and years, and he knows exactly what he's talking about. And that's really about it, and wow, what a mouthful. Anyway, hope this helps. And hey, how about this salmon pink FP, huh? What a hoss. Gotta love it. Someday I'll get it cleaned up and do a proper video on this machine, but not today.